Hi everybody, welcome to my channel Humblehus. I'm going to show you how to make this pretty stitch that you can use on any project that you like. The only thing you have to consider is that you have to do it in multiples of 10. The only things you'll need is obviously yarn, your hook, scissors, a yarn needle, and maybe a ruler. But I will link the yarn that I'm using below in the description, in case you want to use the same one. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is a slip knot. So you can just make a little loop, grab that end, pull it through, not all the way, and then pull in opposite directions. I will be making a headband for my daughter, and I will show you the sizing guide. Now it's only a reference. It has never worked on my daughter. She has never fit into her age group. So if you can measure the person's head, that's even better if you want to make a headband like me. And if not, then obviously you don't need to do that. Now let's start chaining. I'm going to chain 20. Here are my 20 chains. This is the foundation, foundation row, foundation chains. Like I mentioned, you have to crochet in multiples of 10 for this stitch. Whatever number that you're making, so whatever project you're making, let's say you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 chains, you need to add 2 more chains at the end. 1 and 2. That means I now have 22 chains. Now this stitch is perfect for the summer because there's a lot of spaces in between. It's light and airy, and I am using mercerized cotton yarn. It absorbs all the sweat, I guess. Now that you have your foundation chains or foundation row, you are going to count back this first chain and you will work into that second chain. Okay, we'll do a single crochet stitch. Go in there. There. This row that we're now working back is still part of the foundation row, so it's like row 0, okay? This isn't row 1 yet. Now let's chain 2. We need to skip 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, and then in the 5th one, that is where we will do our next stitch. This stitch is called a 3 double crochet puff. So what you do is you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. So you don't finish that double crochet basically. Now you do another one. So you start the next double crochet and pull through 2 loops. So you also don't finish it off. And one more into that same stitch. Through the first 2 loops. There are those 3 double crochets that you started, and now we're going to finish them off by yarning over and pulling through all 4 loops. And that is your 3 double crochet puff. Let's chain 3. And into the same space, we're going to do another 3 double crochet puff, okay? Let's chain 3 one more time. And one more 3 double crochet puff goes into that same stitch, okay? I know that stitch is got, that chain is getting quite wide. And 3. There. Now let's chain 2. We need to skip 4 chains again. Just make sure that you skip this one, because obviously through the pulling it looks like there isn't a chain. So there's your first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And into this 5th chain, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. Go ahead and chain 2 again. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4 chains that we're skipping. And on that 5th one, we need to do these 3 double crochet puffs again. There's the first one, chain 3. There's the second one, chain 3 again. And the last one. This time you chain 2. And we count once again. Make sure you count this chain over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on your last chain, if this is your last chain like me, you will do a single crochet stitch. If you have more stitches, so if you're making it wider than me, then obviously you continue to repeat this part. Let's chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn your work, and this is where row number 1 starts. We are going to start with a treble stitch. We're going to work it into this single crochet stitch that we made. Sorry, it's right here. So go ahead and yarn over twice. Insert your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Let's chain 2. And let's do one more treble again into this space. Chain 2. And from this little pattern that we had on the previous row, the middle part, there's a single crochet right up here where we joined all 3 of the double crochets together. That is where you need to insert your hook, go through those 2 loops, and do a single crochet stitch. Chain 2 again. And now we'll be working into this single crochet right there. Okay, so you're skipping all of this and you're working in there. Let's start with a treble. Chain 2. Let's do another treble into that same space. Chain 2 again. Let's do another treble into that same space. Chain 2. And we're going to do one more treble. So you're going to have a total of 4 trebles into that same space. Chain 2. and find this middle one. That single crochet will go right there. Let's chain 2. So if you had more stitches, you would repeat this part here with the 4 trebles, but since I am at the end, I will work into this single crochet stitch down here. I am going to start with a treble. I'm going to chain 2. I will do another treble. This time I only chain 1 and one last treble. And that is the end of row number 1. Let's chain 3, turn your work, and now we are starting row number 2. So into this space right here, you're going to do a double crochet. You're going to chain 3. And once again, into this space, we're going to do a 3 double crochet puff. Chain 2. We're going to skip all of this, and you are going to work into this middle part. Hope you can see that. Up here, this single crochet stitch, we will work a single crochet stitch in there. Now chain 2 again. This time we will work into this middle part. So where we had those 4 trebles, you will work into the space here, this middle one. Remember those 3 double crochet puffs that we did down here, we're going to do that also in this space. So do those. Chain 3. Chain 3 again. Now we chain 2. We find this single crochet down here and we do a single crochet as well. Now if you, once again, if you have more than 20 chains for your foundation row, you would repeat this part with the 3 double crochets, but since I am at the end of row number 2, I'm going to chain 2, which you would also do for if you were continuing. Now we have this last space all the way back here. We need to do a 3 double crochet puff into the space. We chain 3, double crochet, we double crochet 2 times into this space, 1 and 2. That is the end of row number 2. Let's chain 1 and turn our work for row number 3. Into the same stitch that you just did in the previous row, you want to do a single crochet in there. Hope you can see that right there. Chain 2. Now we have this single crochet here in the middle, right? You skip all of this. And in here, we need to do those 4 trebles. So start with a treble, work in there. There you have it. And now we chain 2 again. We skip all of this. And on this top part, this middle one of the 3 double crochet puffs, we do a single crochet. Just kind of pull it apart so you know where to insert. You're basically doing the same as we did down here, but we are offsetting the stitches, okay? So now chain 2 again, and we will skip all of this so we can work in there to do our 4 trebles. Okay, I'm going to chain 2. Of course, you would continue if you have more, but I am here at the end. So I need to find this chain of 3 that we did over here. And you can work into that top chain. We need to work a single crochet stitch in there. I just like to work into the space. I don't like to pull those stitches if I don't have to, you know. Do a single crochet in there. And that was the end of row number 3. Let's chain 1, turn our work, and we are going to start row number 4 now. Into this same stitch that we just made, we want to do a single crochet stitch in there as well. You're going to chain 2, and we will work those 3 double crochets. So we're skipping all of this. We have to work in the middle. Remember, if you pull it apart into this middle one, so we're going to do our 3 double crochet puffs in there. Okay, and now we only chain 2. Find it, so skip all of that, find this middle one and work your single crochet in there into that single crochet from the previous row and repeat. So chain 2 and work those 3 double crochet puffs here in the middle like that. Now I chain 2 just so to end this row, and obviously if you're continuing, if you repeat this step. And if you're not, then you need to find that single crochet from the previous row over here. You kind of just feel it. So that's, you're like, what? I don't see anything because it all looks the same. You kind of just know it's up there. And do a single crochet. And there you have the end of row number 4. So that is really all there is to this pattern, this stitch. Row number 5 is going to be the same as row number 1, and so on. So if you need to go back in the video to get a refresher, I will get you started. So you chain 5, you turn your work. This is row number 5. And you start with the trebles right here. Okay, so 1 treble is right into that first stitch. Then you chain 2, another treble into that same stitch. And now you're going to chain 2 and work a single crochet at the top of these 3 double crochet puffs. So this will be the row number 5. Once again, is the same as row number 1. So you would continue with your trebles. I'm going to continue until I've reached the desired length that I want, and I will show you how I join the 2 ends if you're making the headband as well. And if not, then I hope you enjoy this stitch. If you're making a headband like myself, there are two ways that you can finish off your project. So one is after your last stitch, wherever you finished, you're going to chain one, then you're going to join the two sides. Just make sure that the yarn is on the outside and that your headband is not twisted. Then you're going to insert your hook on the side that's closest to you into that first stitch, and then you have to line them up as best as you can. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but and then you have the space over here. You're simply going to join with a single crochet. Okay, then you go into either the next stitch or the next space on this side and across and join, because obviously this shape over here is different than your foundation chain, so you kind of have to just eyeball it. And that's the good thing about crochet, it is just so forgiving. So you just go all the way down, like I said, just keep matching it up. Now the second way to do it is either with the same colored yarn or a different one, however you like. I'm going to use a different one. After my last stitch, before I chain one, I am going to form a little loop with the new color. I'm going to pull that through, like so. Now I will chain one with the new color. Turn my work. And because I don't have 20 stitches here, you know, due to all the chains and such, I want to have 20 stitches, kind of like my foundation row. And obviously the band that I made is not as long as, you know, if I was to join it together at the end, it's shorter, so I can have these bands on the side. So my goal is to get 20 single crochet stitches on this side, so where I finished. So I'm just kind of going to, you know, go into the spaces and into the stitches and count. I'm only doing one stitch into each space. 19 and 20. There I go. Now I will chain one and turn my work and repeat. Do 20 single crochets. Okay, now because this is going to be basically on the back of the head and you're not really going to see it, normally to have it really nicely done, you would cut the yarn off and start the band. That's, well, the tie basically. You would just start it fresh over here, but I like to make as few cuts as I need to with the yarn, so I don't, first of all, I don't have to thread it in, and there's less of a chance of it coming undone. Well, at least that's how I see it, but you can do it however you want. I am simply going to, after those 4 rows, I chain one, turn my work. Now I'm going to single crochet 6 because I have 20 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now on both sides, I want there to be a space of 6 stitches, and then the tie is going to be 8 stitches wide. There you have your 6, then come the 8 that I have for the tie, and I will have 6 left over. So now I'm going to, you know, continue with single crochet 8, and I have 6 left. Okay, now I chain 1, turn my work, and only single crochet 8. Okay, like that. Now chain 1, turn my work, and single crochet 8 again. So this is going to be the tie for one side, and then we will repeat the same steps on the other side, where first you need to get your 20 single crochets over here, which will be a little bit easier. This is the foundation chain. And then you just repeat what we're doing right now. And the reason why I mentioned that you can cut it off so it looks nice and clean on both sides is because obviously one side starts down here, whereas the other side starts up here. For me, that's okay. Like I said, you don't really see it on the back, but if you were selling these, you'd want to do it the correct way. Well, not that this is wrong, but you know what I mean. So it just looks very neat. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed making this, whichever version you made. Obviously, this is the only part that I don't love about some of these stitches, because they look pulled and then you have to work, further down, but it's a little hard. That is where if you join the two sides, it looks a little bit better than if you add these bands. But, this is going to be on the bonnet, like in the back. You won't really see it that much. All right, well, thank you for joining me. If you would like to follow me on Instagram at Humblehus, I would love to see what you're making. And until next video, bye.